from That's So Raven. Hey, I'm Hilary Duff from Lizzie McGuire.
Yo, what's up? I'm Orlando Brown from That's So Raven.
Penny from the Proud Family.
Hey, what's up? I'm Miley Cyrus from Hannah Montana.
I'm Dove Cameron from Descendants.
And you're watching.
You're watching. You're watching.
You're watching Disney Channel.
You're watching Disney Channel.
And you're watching Disney Channel.
Disney Channel.
Disney Channel.
Disney Channel. Hello. Ah, thank you.
I quite like that.
Oh, Disney Channel, the channel that raised me, the channel that birthed me, the channel that I spent most of my childhood watching, the channel that okay. I didn't know how I was gonna start this video, so I just came up with that random line. For several decades, Disney Channel has been entertaining children all over the world with their iconic original movies, cartoons, and TV shows. Disney Channel is also known for launching the careers of several child stars over the years who have gone on to have pretty successful careers as actors and pop stars. So many children had dreams of starring in their own Disney Channel show and even having their own Wand ID during the commercial breaks. I know I did.
Hey, I'm Phil from Feeling So Good, and you are watching my YouTube channel. But yeah.
I recently saw a post saying that Disney Channel was celebrating its 40th anniversary, and it felt like nobody really talked about it. There were no tribute specials, no documentary, no cast reunions, no behind-the-scenes footage, nothing. Just a few Instagram and YouTube posts. To me, the 40th anniversary kind of came and went and was swept under the rug, which is so bizarre to me because this is the Disney Channel we're talking about here. What was once a dominating force for children entertainment has seemed to fade away into obscurity over the years. And this really had me thinking about how many people claim that Disney Channel is officially dead. And I don't think it's officially dead yet, but there does seem to be an obvious decline in quality and overall popularity based on the era you grew up in. Every era from Disney Channel is basically when they update the logo every couple of years. And for this video, we'll be looking back at the history of Disney Channel from its early beginnings to its current state to see if it's actually dead or if we've just grown up. So on April 18th, 1983, the Disney Channel was launched as a premium channel for basic cable users. It originally showcased programming for American families who had cable television at the time and only broadcasted for 16 hours a day. The channel premiered with its first show called Good Morning Mickey, which was basically a collection of Mickey and Friends themed shorts. In October of that year, Disney had released its first made-for-TV film called The Tiger Town, basically the first DCOM before they were called DCOMs. And by the end of the year, the Disney Channel was available to all 50 states and had a total of 61,000 subscribers and had reached around 1.75 million subscribers in January of 1985. Throughout the rest of the 80s, we would see many shows and cartoons start popping up, including Dumbo's Circus, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and DuckTales, which was a classic and honestly one of the best shows to come from Disney Channel. Although this era was short-lived, it helped lay the foundation for what was to come in the following decades. The 90s was a weird time for the channel. In the era of baggy clothes, bright colors, and innovation, it was clear that the 90s decade was a major turning point for pop culture. It was honestly hard for the Disney Channel to keep up at this time, with the constant change of interests and trends amongst younger viewers. Many people at this time saw the Disney Channel as a channel just for little kids and toddlers, lacking any originality or edge to set them apart from the other kid networks at the time. This era was mostly known for the infamous Mickey Hands commercial breaks, as well as many other shows like The Adventures in Wonderland and the new Mickey Mouse Club, which had a large roster of up-and-coming superstars including Kerry Russell, JC Chasez, Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, Ryan Gosling, and Christina Aguilera. They honestly felt like the OG Disney stars even though they were on the channel for 1 year. They had those kids singing for their life like rent was due.
but wow, what a moment.
Despite gaining more viewers over time, the channel just couldn't compete with what the 90s had to offer for children entertainment. During this time, the Disney Renaissance was going on strong with their lineup of major animated film releases. Video game culture was huge, MTV was all the rage, and we also saw the rise of two new competitors that completely took over the children entertainment industry with Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. Cartoon Network shifted the industry with its focus on unique animated series and storytelling, while Nickelodeon quickly became the go-to channel for kids and teenagers. Nickelodeon was killing the game during the 90s with their wide variety of shows including game shows, cartoons, and live-action sitcoms. And people call this the golden age of Nickelodeon. I will definitely have to make a video on that later on, so stay tuned for that. As more competition began to rise in the 90s, it was very clear that the Disney Channel had to do something fast before they would get wiped out from extinction.
I'll get you for this, Ashley Spinelli!
After seeing the success of Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network in the 90s, Disney Channel wanted to imitate their competition and went through several drastic changes. During this era, the Disney Channel would change their name, dropping the word "the" and becoming Disney Channel. The logo also went through a noticeable change, adding Mickey Mouse on a TV with a blue screen background and Mickey ears. Disney Channel transitioned from a premium cable channel to a traditional cable channel during this time period, which helped broaden their reach to get more viewers. This era was also notable for broadening their age demographic with a focus on kids and preteens. In 1997, Disney Channel launched 3 new blocks to help them with their reach as part of their new rebrand. So we had Vault Disney, Zoog Disney, and Playhouse Disney. Vault Disney was a Sunday block that would be more suitable for older adults, while Playhouse Disney was aimed at more preschool age viewers. And the first show to be on Playhouse Disney was actually Bear in the Big Blue House, which I actually remember a lot from my childhood. And then Zoog Disney was for the older kids and had a very Y2K aesthetic, which looking back is super dated but was a big deal at the time. 1997 was the year when Disney Channel debuted their first official Disney Channel original movie, or DCOM for short, Under Wraps, and this movie did really well, being their first Disney Channel movie. As the 90s progressed, they continued with many more big DCOM premieres with Halloween Town, Smart House, Don't Look Under the Bed, Brink, The Color of Friendship, Johnny Tsunami, The 13th Year, Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century, and many more. Disney Channel was also starting to create their own original series around this time with shows like The Jersey, So Weird, Flash Forward, and The Famous Jet Jackson. They also played many reruns of some of the hottest 90s teen sitcoms at the time, including Sister Sister, Boy Meets World, and Smart Guy. Oh, and you can't forget Recess. That show was a timeless classic, and that's another video for another day. This new rebrand of Disney Channel really helped solidify themselves as a major force in children's entertainment, and was definitely the era that helped set them apart from their competitors. Thanks to this era, this would later become the Disney Channel we all know and love.
Do you carry a lunchbox?
As the 90s came to a close, it was very clear that Disney Channel had proven themselves as a mainstay for children entertainment. By the turn of the new millennium, Disney Channel was pumping out DCOMs and new original series left and right. Even Stevens, Lizzie McGuire, The Proud Family, and Kim Possible were all very successful shows at this time. This was also around the time when the website launched, and the focus was to have kids watch the shows as well as visit the website to play games and whatever else was available at the time. By 2002, Disney Channel had become available to around 80 million cable-owned households nationwide. In March of 2002, the DCOM Cadet Kelly, which starred Hilary Duff and Christy Carlson Romano, debuted with 7.8 million viewers, which was insane at the time. Cadet Kelly actually became the biggest DCOM premiere at the time, and I remember this movie being on TV all the time growing up. It felt like it was on every day. Similar to how BET always plays Baby Boy reruns almost every day. The movie's success was mostly thanks to the two leads who were already on popular Disney Channel shows at the time, Even Stevens and Lizzie McGuire. Also in 2002, another DCOM, True Confessions, which starred Shia LaBeouf, another star from a popular Disney show, would see great success for the network. And this movie was also nominated for an Emmy. This formula would continue over the years and helped with the popularity of many future DCOMs, as it would make kids want to watch them seeing their favorite Disney Channel star playing a different character. This was also the era where the modern Disney Star was becoming a thing. I like to say this was the real start of Disney Channel's peak in popularity. Disney Channel was pushing for their stars to have music careers as well as acting. They really wanted to profit off of their teen stars any way they could. Around this time, Disney Channel introduced the now iconic Wand ID bumpers, where a Disney star would say their name, what show or movie they're from, and end up saying, "You're watching Disney Channel," all while drawing the Mickey Ears logo. To this day, the current Disney stars still do this with some variations, as it's become somewhat of a rite of passage for them and a cultural milestone for anybody who works for the company. 2003 was yet another pivotal year when they premiered their hottest new show, That's So Raven, starring Raven-Symoné. And this show was a game changer when it first aired and became one of their most popular shows overnight. I actually have a whole video on this show, so y'all should definitely check that out. That's So Raven was a live-action comedy about a girl who had psychic abilities that always got her friends, and her family in the craziest situations. This show was definitely ahead of its time, as it was the first Disney Channel original sitcom that used a laugh track. This would change the trajectory of the network and set the tone for the types of shows they would produce over the years. That's So Raven was also the first Disney Channel sitcom to produce 4 seasons, 100 episodes, a spin-off, and had a predominantly black cast, which is just so iconic. Throughout the rest of this era, we would see more successful shows, cartoons, and DComs dominate the 2000s, including the Cheetah Girls 1 and 2, Phil of the Future, Twitches, Lilo and Stitch the series, the Even Stevens movie, The Suite Life of Zack and Cody, and Hannah Montana, which we'll talk about later in this video. Perhaps the biggest thing to happen during this era and of the channel was the premiere of High School Musical in January of 2006. High School Musical was a massive success and became a global phenomenon overnight, pulling in 7.7 million viewers, which is just insane. It's the most iconic and popular DCOM ever. I don't think it's the best DCOM to ever exist, but it's definitely the most iconic. The songs were catchy and memorable, the merchandise was everywhere, and the story just motivated so many children to step out of their comfort zones and try something different, aka musical theater. You couldn't deny High School Musical's impact on pop culture back then. It was just everywhere. Even the soundtrack became the highest selling album of 2006, which is crazy. Which was just crazy because that was the year that you had big name artists like Beyonce, Justin Timberlake, and Fergie all dropping some of their hottest albums that year. This era of Disney Channel was great and literally the start of something new. Get it? The start of something new, like in the movie, like, you know how in High School Musical how they sing.
Stop it. Get some help.
Okay, we're just gonna move on to the next era.
I'm the man who had the cheese. I'm the man who had the jerky.
By this point in time, Disney Channel had reached its peak in ratings, viewership, and overall popularity. This was the era where some of the biggest Disney stars really made a name for themselves and stood out amongst any other era of Disney stars. You had people like Miley Cyrus, Zac Efron, Ashley Tisdale, Selena Gomez, Vanessa Hudgens, Corbin Bleu, Demi Lovato, Kyle Massey, the Sprouse Twins, and the Jonas Brothers really dominate this era of Disney Channel. This was the era where Disney started to shift their focus on more musical content than before after the success of High School Musical. One of their biggest shows during this time was Hannah Montana, which starred Miley Cyrus. Hannah Montana was massively popular, becoming the biggest show ever on Disney Channel. It was about a girl who was living a double life as a regular teenager and a pop star. Each season produced top-selling soundtracks, sold-out tours, a theatrical film, and a whole lot of merchandise. Like seriously, you couldn't go anywhere without seeing some kind of Hannah Montana merchandise, whether it be backpacks, dolls, toys, the CDs, toothbrushes, cameras, you name it. Hannah Montana fever literally took over the nation back then. You just had to be there. In 2007, High School Musical 2 was released and became the most watched event in Disney Channel's history, with a record-breaking 17.2 million viewers on its premiere night, which was just insane. You were lucky if you were one of those kids that watched it during its premiere night. I was actually one of those kids that watched it during premiere night. You just had to be there. And this was unheard of at the time, especially for children's programming. This was the true peak of Disney Channel, and it still holds the record for most views ever from the network. The movie was so successful that the third film was released to theaters the following year, and the High School Musical franchise made millions of dollars for Disney. Other popular shows, cartoons, and DComs that aired around this era included Cory in the House, Phineas and Ferb, Sunny with a Chance, Minutemen, The Suite Life on Deck, Jump In, Wizards of Waverly Place, Cheetah Girls 3, and the Camp Rock movies. This was also the era where Disney XD was launched as the more male-led version of Disney Channel. I'd say my favorite show to come from this era was definitely Phineas and Ferb, and my favorite movie to come from this era was Jump In.
You people have a vicious, cold-blooded reptile living in this building?
Why not? You live here.
The first half of the 2010s decade was drastically different from the previous eras. By this point in time, I had gone into high school and grew out of watching Disney Channel, but would still check in from time to time just to see what was going on. Many shows and stars from the mid to late 2000s were wrapping up or had left the network, so the channel just looked so different from when I was a young child. The High School Musical and Hannah Montana hype train had ended, Sweet Life came to a close, and Wizards was in its last season. Phineas and Ferb was still on, so that's good. A lot of newer shows and DCOMs came out back to back to replace the older ones. This was the era of Ant Farm, Jessie, Good Luck Charlie, Dog with a Blog, Teen Beach Movie, Let It Shine, Austin and Ally, Shake It Up, Gravity Falls, Lemonade Mouth, and many more. This was the era that had newcomers like Dove Cameron, Ross Lynch, Debbie Ryan, Zendaya, Bella Thorne, China Anne McClain, Cameron Boyce, Bridget Mendler, and many more. During this era, the shows and DCOMs to me just lacked the overall popularity and mass appeal that the shows and DCOMs from the 90s and 2000s had. That's not to say that there weren't any hidden gems sprinkled in here and there. This era was just, different.
If only I hadn't touched that amulet in that ancient Egyptian temple, I'd still be a man.
What?
Nah, just kidding. I've always been a dog.
I actually really enjoyed Good Luck Charlie. This was the last show from Disney Channel that I actually remember being invested in from start to finish. An everyday normal family who engaged in everyday normal things. No music, no big secret, no magic, no gimmick, just a normal middle-class family. Lemonade Mouth and Gravity Falls were also pretty good. Everything else from this era was just meh or really cringe.
Suit of armor, strong and true. Make this metal bust a move.
So this was the era where Disney Channel was still putting out popular content, but with a twist. A lot of the shows focused on teaching kids about inclusion, diversity, blended families, and even started implementing controversial topics that reflected what was happening in the mid to late 2010s. During this time, Disney Channel had more Latin, Asian, and Black representation than ever before. Also, during this time, we saw a beloved show from the 90s have a spin-off in Girl Meets World, the Raven's Home reboot, Bunked, which overstayed its welcome as the longest running sitcom in Disney Channel history. I seriously don't know why that show went on for so long. Like, who was watching this? And a Kim Possible live action movie that nobody asked for. A lot of people who grew up in previous generations of Disney Channel said that they were running out of ideas and that the newer shows just weren't as good as the older shows. And that may be true to an extent. Even though the shows and DCOMs were still pretty popular amongst younger viewers, they still weren't able to bring in as much viewership and hype as the shows and movies from decades before. And I always wondered why that was. I've come up with 3 reasons why I think Disney Channel might be considered dead by some people. One reason being social media. Social media platforms such as YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Vine, rest in peace, have taken over and replaced old traditional media. Kids nowadays have easier access to the internet than ever before, and rather spend their time scrolling on Instagram or watching TikTok and YouTube videos all day. Why watch cookie-cutter Disney stars on TV when you have all these wannabe influencers? Why spend your time watching a whole episode when you have more interesting and niche choices like Mr. Beast, Tana Mongeau, and Cocomelon? Another reason why I think Disney Channel may be dying would be the rise in popularity of Disney Plus. Disney Plus, as we all know, is a streaming service that is all things Disney related. Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, you name it. They also have almost every show, cartoon, and DCOM available to watch on the app. Throughout 2020, Disney Channel lost around 33% of its viewers because of the success of Disney Plus. This also resulted in Disney Channel shutting down in some countries, which is sad to say. But let's keep it real, this has been happening with many other TV channels as streaming services continue to take over. Zombies 3 was actually the first DCOM to premiere on Disney Plus back in 2022. Also in 2022, the Proud Family reboot premiered, and it's a Disney Plus exclusive rather than it being a Disney Channel original series. And I have a feeling that this trend will continue to happen over time. My last possible reason for Disney Channel being dead would be that the current content lacks creativity and overall quality compared to what was out in the 90s and 2000s. I know I'm an adult way past the target demographic, but these newer shows and DCOMs just don't hit as hard as the previous ones did. As of making this video, there's this show that's currently airing on Disney Channel called The Villains of Valley View, and it just sounds and looks a little too familiar to another popular show that we all know and love. Disney Channel has been entertaining children for over 40 years and doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. Let's just have our fingers crossed on that. Over the years, they have given us so many iconic moments, from the shows to the movies to launching the careers of many of the biggest child stars, and finally dethroning Nickelodeon as the highest rated children's network. Growing up watching Disney Channel was one of my favorite things to do as a child, and I still rewatch some of the classic shows and DCOMs as an adult. To answer the question of is Disney Channel dead, my answer is no, or at least not anytime soon. The quality and viewership has definitely declined over the years, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's dead. I believe in this next generation of content creators. All in all, I think Disney Channel is not dead. We've just grown up. What was your favorite Disney Channel show? What era of Disney Channel was the best? What was your favorite DCOM? Who was your favorite Disney Channel star? And what was your favorite song from Disney Channel? Let me know down below. Thanks so much for watching this video. I really appreciate each and every one of you all. Please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more fun videos just like this. See ya!